You're welcome to the Marriott Hotel here in Accra, where we're all excited because we're about to find out who the KIC Agritech winners are going to be. I'm so honored to have with me the communications manager of KIC, Ruth Adashi. She's here with the programs officer, Fred Phillips. How nice to see you both. Thank you very much for making the time.
Nice to see you, and thanks for having us.
Excellent. Now, of course, we're here because we're about to hear the announcement of the winners. They've gone through all the exercises and all the activities that are to determine the winner, and we're now going to tell the world who has emerged victorious in 2019. This is a very important competition, so let's learn a little bit about it. First question, Cosmos and KIC. Well, Cosmos is an oil and gas company. So why agriculture?
Yes, that's the question everyone is asking. Cosmos Energy, oil and gas production exploration company, one of the best in the world, of course. We found oil in 2007. And the question people are asking is, why aren't you doing something within the oil and gas field and then you're going into agriculture? Yes, we've been here over 10 years, and we all know how important important oil is. But what Cosmos always says is, what can we do beyond oil and gas? What can we do beyond oil and gas? So we've done a bit of social investment programs, but in 2015 we sat back and we looked at the whole economy and said, what can we do that will have an impact on every single Ghanaian? And what can we also do to help Ghana's development? So agriculture became the lowest hanging fruit because, as my boss keeps on saying, everybody eats. This morning we've had something to eat. So that tells us why agriculture is important. So we zeroed in on agriculture, but what are we going to do with agriculture? Are we going to go into some large-scale farming or what? We also realized that there was a big problem, the teeming youth unemployment. So how do we marry agriculture with the young people of Ghana today? And we realized that the young people are interested in innovation, in technology. So that is what we looked at, the three things: tech, innovation, youth, and agriculture. If we could change the way agric is done, and we could have the youth work on it by looking at the challenges within the whole agricultural spectrum, and they would impact by changing the way things are done, then we would have agriculture scaling up, we would have food sustainability, and so we'll continue to have everyone eating. And therefore, we know that the oil find will not offset agriculture. So wonderful. We went into agriculture to help everyone.
Well, that's really good. Now, this year in particular, 11 final teams. Tell us about them and what have they brought to the table this year?
Okay, thank you. The focus this year is again to help address challenges along the agri value chain. So we're trying to, if you pick some of the teams, you're looking at teams that are looking to address challenges with irrigation. So we have one company that its focus is supporting smallholder farmers address issues along their irrigation. And then we also have one other company that is also looking at additional incomes for households. So you're looking at hydroponics, where an average house can come in, set up a system within their house, grow vegetables for themselves, sell if there's any excess. We also have one company that is looking to address the high cost of production in the poultry industry, i.e. ensuring that there is farmers cut down on the amount of protein they spend. So they're looking at using insects to derive protein for some poultry. And then we also have another company that is looking at supporting coconut farmers, to linking them to market, and also looking at how best they can add value to coconut. We also have another company that is looking at cocoa. Hitherto, cocoa farmers would harvest, go through laborious mechanisms to break the pods, ferment, and then dry. They've come with a one-stop shop where farmers bring cocoa to a center, they break it, it's automated. So it kind of reduces the drudgery and then ensure that the cocoa is also available for the cocoa buying companies.
That's great. Wow, an exciting array of teams there. So tell me, I mean, KIC Agritech has been going on for how many years now?
We are in our third year, but this is the fourth cycle.
Fourth, okay. So I guess the question is, what have we got from it so far? Tell me about the teams that have won in the past, and how impressed are you with what they've gone on to do after the contest?
Let me take it up here. It's very impressive. You're looking at the amount of revenue they've been able to generate. You're looking at the employment they've been able to generate as well. Currently, on the average, each of these businesses would employ a little over 12 people in just a little over a year, and impacting on livelihoods as well. You're also looking at access to markets for a lot of these products from the smallholder farmers, and also ensuring that factories are fed with raw materials. Yeah.
Wow. And each winner has managed to do this?
Yes, they have. If we look at one of the companies called Lojano or Profish, Profish within a space of a year have been able to open their own office where they process the fish that they take out to the market. You also talk about Toto Tractor. Toto Tractor too has done very well. As we speak, they are in Zimbabwe. You know, so if you look at what all the teams are doing, and as Fred said, the livelihoods that they are affecting, if you take an average of, let's say, 5 in a family, and you take a company like Toto Tractor in the northern part of Ghana, where hitherto the women in the family would have to use hoes to create the farrows in their farms, but now they have the tractors. They can easily order tractor. That leaves them to do other things, and these women are able to take care of their households, and is affecting even their kids, you know. So if typically you have 500 farmers, just as an example, and each of these farmer families have 5 in the family, 5 times 500, that tells you the impact that they are having right down at the grassroots.
Now let's talk about this year's winners. We're about to find out who they are. But what did they have to do to win? What were the judges looking out for? What was the expectation from this year's teams?
One, you're looking at the ability of that business to be able to scale. Again, you're also looking at the ability of that business to kind of address a teething problem within the agri value chain. And the team is very, very important for us as a KIC. Will the team be able to drive the business? Will they be able to drive the product to be able to scale it up? Those are some of the factors we looked out for.
So it's not just about hearing a product and thinking, oh, that will work. But there's so many other factors go into it, and you're looking at the sustainability of the business.
Exactly, because the whole idea is one entrepreneur at a time. So how are we fortifying that entrepreneur, not just the entrepreneur, but the whole team, and then the business that they have to scale it up? Because if you don't scale up the business, if you are not able to monetize that business, then you had better not start at all. So from that 10-month period, they've gone through over 25 capacity building programs, all in a bid to strengthen the businesses and then to make sure that their businesses are also scalable.
And again, I mean, for us, what has made us successful to this point is the mentoring, coaching, and the linkages we bring to these businesses. Again, we have an incubation hub where we kind of house all these businesses. So on the minimum, at least 1 year, you are with us, the coaches, to ensure that you're doing the right thing, we are providing the right linkages, and helping cut all the teething problems.
And then to make it even more robust, just a month ago, we've opened the Innovation Hub, where these teams that are going to graduate today are going to start their incubation program.
Now, I've always wondered, I mean, is entrepreneurship something that can be taught? Or do you find that you have to be born with it? You've worked with so many of these teams. Are there some people that you come across and you realize, you know what, you're great with technology or you have a great idea, but you're just not a born entrepreneur? Do you find that sometimes?
Well, for us, we always say you need to have the fire in the belly, or you need the passion for it. I mean, the passion that makes you wake up in the morning to want to do what others may not be able to do. The passion that even though you're not succeeding, that passion keeps driving you until that point where you're able to find that gem you're looking out for.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also to mention, we look at the benefits of the KIC program in two ways. Apart from the entrepreneurs, we also talk about the capacity building.
Right.
So yes, there may be some people who are not cut to be entrepreneurs, but they leave the program very well trained, and when they go into other employment, they excel. And the beauty again about the KIC program, because the participants have gone through all this training, the business teams that we have created are able to employ from there. You know, so we don't see anything as a problem. We see them as challenges that can be surmounted. So even if the person is not cut to be an entrepreneur, the training program is able to mold them in a way that they become better employees and better people.
So in a way, everybody wins.
Exactly,
right?
Everybody wins.
Speaking of which, what does everybody win? Tell us about the package for this year.
Okay, so this year, Cosmos Energy, as we've done in the past, we've looked at two teams, and we'll look at the two teams again. The two teams is 100,000 for the two teams, is 50 each, and then subsequently we also have the capacity building programs that we offer them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So 50,000. What is the expectation? How did you arrive at that figure, and what do you expect teams to be able to do with it?
Well, that's the beauty about the KIC program. Everything we are doing is well thought through. So as I told you, we went through like almost 2 years of planning this. So it's part of the planning process that we went through that helped us to arrive at this figure, that the experts, that helps us, the consultants have helped us to understand that this is what will be able to help these teams to make a difference.
Okay, so do you have a certain expectation in terms of numbers? A year from now, what do you expect a winner to have achieved, or 5 years from now, and so forth?
Okay, so when they come in, what we do is, even before they win, we've looked at their financials, what it is that they can do, what are the assumptions for a particular business, based on what the industry best practices are.
Right.
Based on that, we set KPIs once they get into the incubator, and then we do a periodic check-ins with them to ensure that everybody is on track. I mean, once you are falling off that track, if there are corrective measures, we ensure that is done. Yeah.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that you've already opened up applications for next year. So tell all of the excited innovators who are watching, how can they start on the path to become the next Cosmos Agritech winner?
We've opened up across all our platforms. Joy, you've been announcing this for us, so they can go on our Facebook, our Instagram, the KIC website. There is a link there. It's very easy to link up to it, and then there's a form that you need to fill, and then you're on the road to being part of the KIC 2020 program. So we invite all the energetic young people, especially we want the ladies also to be part of this journey with us. So ladies, come on board. All the young people in Ghana, come on board and apply. The application closes on December 6th. So we look forward to receiving your applications.
Wonderful. Now, before we talk a bit more about today and how it's going to go here at the Marriott Hotel, let's touch briefly on the business side of things. Once you have your two winners, what's the arrangement? I mean, do you become partners in their business? Does KIC become partners in their business? You share profits, or I mean, what's the ongoing relationship?
We don't share profits with them. We are helping the youth one entrepreneur at a time. And that's why we encourage people to look at what we are doing and then also help support these young people. So what happens is once they are funded, they are coached to know how to run a business. At the end of the day, it is their business. It is not for Cosmos Energy. We are just helping them to set them up and then see them grow and then scale up and then impact on other young people and then Ghana as a whole.
One of our big problems in this nation is that agriculture has not been, for want of a better word, sexy. You know, young people don't seem to be attracted to the sector. Well, it's perhaps getting better these days, but for a long time that was the perception that people were not very excited about agriculture. This seems to be something that is addressing that. But do you see results when you go out into the into the community? Do you see that others who may not have participated are influenced, affected by it, and are going into Agritech?
Yeah, so what we've done this year, we did a road show. We've gone around a bit of the regions to kind of, the objective was to recruit and again to gauge interest of the youth, and you'll be surprised how interested they are. A lot of them have so many innovations, and how to test it becomes a problem. Yeah, they're so excited about it and would want to be part of it. As we stand now, we have a little over, close to 1,200 applications that have come in that will be screened. We make sure we pick the best, and then we move from there.
Interesting. Now, is your work influenced by the realities of our economics? So, for example, this year we saw negative growth in fisheries. You know, so other sectors of agriculture didn't do as well as others. Do you tend to pay attention to that as well when you're focusing on which teams to work with? Do you try to see if you can fill holes in our sector?
Okay, so what we typically would do is each year we do what we call the market research. So we pick the entire agricultural value chain, look at what the issues are, and then run the teams through it. Out of that, we bring in experts to help them ideate and all that. Out of that, they're able to pick what some of the key challenges are, challenges that could be addressed and scaled up. So yes, whatever we do is a bit more scientific in our approach. Yeah.
Well,
So we pay attention to the issues, to the challenges within the agri value chain. And as Fred said, we don't just leave them. We work with the experts. So when we start our market research, we begin from the Ministry of Agriculture. And that also is to reinforce what the challenges are. And these young people are able to work with the ministry, and they're able to come up with the problems to the challenges.
Wow. Well, let's certainly hope to see the impact of what you're doing in agriculture. All right, we've got more to talk about, but for a moment, I want you to check out one of the teams that have made it to the final here, and the quality of the work and ideas that are being presented at the KIC Agritech Challenge.
The global CEO and chairman of Cosmos and the board and the Ghana company to come up with ideas to implement systems and programs that makes sure that Cosmos remains a very relevant and a leading member of the Ghanaian community, and that everything we do here has a positive impact and helps the country grow. So that's what the advisory council is there for, and we are made up of 6 business entrepreneurs, people that have managed top multinational companies, Ghanaians. All of us are Ghanaians, and we are here to make sure that Cosmos's footprint in Ghana is a permanent and a lasting positive partner, and across Africa as well. So that's what we do.
That's wonderful. Tell us, how have the contestants benefited from the advisory council?
You know, Cosmos stands for entrepreneurship. To come and discover oil in Ghana after 40, 50 years of searching. So the ecosystem of Cosmos is, how do we do this smartly? How do we take risks? And how do we develop stronger? So the Advisory Council is there to embody the spirit. And what we want to see in the Ghanaian youth, we wake up every day, everyone is unemployed, we have problems we've lived with in the agricultural sector for hundreds of years, we are not changing them. And today technology is coming to make things a lot faster. We are leapfrogging a lot of development through technology. You can look at what our telecom system, our telecom sector looks like now. So the advisory council members look and help to shape the program. We also serve as mentors to the companies that are formed from when George puts them all together to when they are actually companies. We meet with them quarterly or so and hear what their challenges are. We introduce them to markets, we introduce them to people, we talk to regulators on their behalf to change things that betters or makes things better. So it's an all-encompassing role, and we want these companies to succeed. We want Ghana to succeed.
Indeed. Now, I'm going to tap a bit into your investment background in a moment, but George, I'd love to bring you in at this point.
Sure.
Today is special. I mean, today we find out who the 2 winners are.
Yes.
But a part of you must feel quite sad to let the other 9 go, right?
Kojo, it's not letting them go. The KIC, or the Cosmos Innovation Center program, is a fully comprehensive one. We have a saying, once you enter, you don't get out.
Sounds ominous.
It means that because it's not about just the investment. In fact, we've had in the past the companies that did not win the investment, they stayed in there and continued their program and have been very successful. So the investment itself is just a small component of it. All of them are still going to benefit from another 12 months of incubation support. A comprehensive version of the previous 10 months. This time around, they are going to be exposed to every facet of starting and growing a successful business. They are going to be mentored by the most seasoned executives you can find around, both internally and externally. They are going to be part of what we call the KIC Fellowship. The KIC Fellowship simply means everybody who has ever participated in the Cosmos Innovation Center program benefit is in there, so that these companies, they lend support to each other. You have vertical and horizontal integration of businesses, so they take care of each other.
Wow. So I guess you're right. Nobody leaves.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Now, let me ask about your assessment of the impact of KIC Agritech. This is the 4th cycle so far. And of course, you did this because you felt that agriculture was an important sector to invest time, resources into. So how do you assess the impact so far, 4 cycles in? Are we changing agriculture in Ghana yet?
Yes, indeed, Kojo, we are changing it. And this is the reason why I believe so. Currently, if you look at the full agricultural value chain, what I call from farm to table, we have a KIC company operating within each subsector.
Wow.
Okay, with the 11 teams that we have today, we pretty much have every point covered. They have created no less than 250 employees to date. They have themselves collectively been able to achieve over $1 million in investment. They employ even national service personnel. We have trained over 500 entrepreneurs, and to date we would have created over 25 companies. So indeed, they are making impact. Not just even nationally in Ghana, some of them have already started to scale up beyond Ghana. You take Tractor, for example, they're already in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Okay, now let's come back to Ghana. Basically, they are working with several farmers, several organizations that cater to our farmers, and they are lending support where their products are creating efficiencies and increasing productivity, and thereby more money into the hands of our farmers, and therefore they're able to take care of their families.
Oh, look at that. KIC is putting money in our pockets too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's
And
wonderful.
in fact, before KIC, when you looked at the Agritech Innovation Hub, when they looked at the Africa Innovation Hub, Ghana wasn't on the list. So when they ranked, there was always Kenya,
Yes.
South Africa, and in the 4 years KIC has been in existence, we are now like in the top 3 of Africa in terms of introducing innovation into our agricultural space, and it's mostly KIC companies that come up. Tractors, Profish, all of them are coming up and doing great things. So we're very proud of what this sector is doing. Agriculture today is our largest employer.
Yeah.
It impacts so many people's lives. A lot of the poverty we have in Ghana stems from the fact that there are too many inefficiencies in the sector. So our interest is to address and to bring many more people out of this poverty, and we are already seeing the impact these companies are having on our farmers.
I said I was going to tap into your investment background. I mean, how attractive is agriculture as to investors? I mean, how much of all the money flying about finds its way into agriculture?
Yes. So for me, I look at it 2 ways. When I see that KIC has trained 500 entrepreneurs in the last 4 years, it tells me that it's a very interesting sector for our youth. Yeah. For people whose idea of punishment was go to the farm and weed. And so many of them, when we call out for subscriptions, so many people apply. I mean, the application, the numbers that apply are multiples of thousands apply. Wow. Okay, and by the time we go through our screening process and then decide who goes forward with us, it tells me that our youth today are energized about the sector and the opportunities that there are in there. In terms of the financing of these businesses, there's a lot more that we can do. But I'm encouraged that over the years through KIC, almost even years that we don't take, we take only 2. Other companies step in, banks step in, other innovation hubs step in and come and support and take up investments in the other companies. There's a lot more that needs to be done. I mean, ADB Bank, all the institutions, venture capital finances, all the institutions set up to help startup need to step in and do more. Unfortunately, a lot of our companies are having to depend on foreign investors, but if they see that there's value in them, for sure the institutions in Ghana need to put the patient money to support Cosmos and some of the other financial institutions to do that. So we're not getting enough.
So is that what you tell your clients?
I'm telling them the smart money is there.
Yes.
It's no wonder that agriculture is a huge sector anywhere in the world because we need to feed ourselves. Food sustainability is one of the MDG goals for all of us. So we can't live without it. So we have to put our money behind it.
Wonderful. Now, I may be wrong, so I'm happy to be corrected. But I can't quite recall any of your teams doing anything to do with fisheries.
Oh, fishery.
Yes. Do you keep that separate?
Could you have it wrong?
I am wrong, right?
We do.
Okay.
No, we have a company called Profish.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Profish, basically led by this wonderful young lady, in fact, who was, I think last year, was named as one of the most promising young executives, female executives in our area, in Africa, really. She leads this company called Profish. They have created almost the middle team, the middle entity that ensures efficiency of distribution of fish from the sea to the client, the end user. Name it hotels, restaurants, whatever. They will ensure that whatever you want, when you need it, where you need it, it is delivered. Yeah. And they opened their distribution center, I think about 3 months ago in Jowolo. So yes, as I said, we are covering from farm to table, and that includes fishery.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And they've taken a very Ghanaian word international. Their brand is Lojano.
Right.
So the fish market. And this company is now known around the world,
Fantastic.
taking a Ga word, and it's an incredible business. We're excited about their future, actually.
Now let's talk about the investment potential of our 11 finalists. I mean, no doubt, they're all viable.
Yes.
But perhaps you can give us a bit more nuance into it. What is it about these ideas that make them so viable?
Yes.
Best word I could think of.
Okay, so when you look at, there's a group that are farming insects as feed. Okay, currently we are importing a lot of feed from Europe into Ghana for our fishing industries. We're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars. The one thing we have in abundance, being in the tropics, are insects. So this company that is providing this solution, that is actually a richer protein source, and then can save us a lot of foreign currency that we use to import. It's telling us that you must put your money there. So instead of spending another $100 million every year importing feed for our poultry, for our fishing industry, we have a local solution. We have to scale this up. We have to export this. If we don't, other people will take it up from us. So there are lots of these. There's the guys in the cocoa sector. There are people using agricultural waste into the carbon, into making coal and stuff like that. So there's a lot. When you look at the import substitution factor, when you look at the productivity factor, when we look at the impact on the environment, just doing things in a more efficient way that protects our environment, for me, these things have to be done.
Now, I have always wondered the impact lack of information has on, what you try to do. You want to help encourage people to go into markets that perhaps, have not yet been identified until they came along. But we have such a lack of data, on anything, not just agriculture, but anything in our society. But agriculture in particular, because of the fact that most of the practitioners there are not, traditionally, we don't find people who have studied, to very high levels, working in agriculture. As a result, information is lacking.
Sure.
Recently, government announced that they are going to set up a database of cocoa farmers. We're a cocoa nation. Since 1920, we've been growing cocoa, and we don't have a database of cocoa farmers. How difficult is it for young businesses like these to thrive in a place where they are blind? There's no information.
Well, it's a Kojo, we imbibe in these young people that concept of anything is possible. Okay, you do not allow the lack of whatever it may be to deter you from doing what you need to do. So before even they start the program for the orientation, there are 3 kinds of market research. We put them in buses to go through all the 16 regions of Ghana so that they can see for first hand what agriculture is all about. The second part of the market research, after they have been with the program for about 2 months, is to actually go and collect data to support or validate the concept that they are working on. And the final market research is when they have actually a product, prototype ready, they take it to the market to really test it. So, yes, in the absence of even the data you're talking about, we still want to thrive. And these young people are finding creative ways to collect that information.
And Kojo, just to correct that, so 4 years of KIC, the one thing KIC has is a lot of data.
Brilliant.
So we have gathered a lot of data. Our companies have gathered a lot of data on farmers. There's no need for government to go and start from scratch again. Someone like Trotro Tractor, Complete Tractor, they have mapped the farming communities all over Ghana. They have all of this in a database. They know everyone what what farm size, what they are growing on that land, soil solutions. We have gathered so much data. We have a huge database of information that can be built upon. So if government is going to do more, we are happy to partner.
Actually, we may be a source of even data.
We are happy to partner to build on it, because a company like Soil Solutions has gone around and done a lot of the stratification of what soils are available in Ghana and what are the best crops to grow on the various soils. The same with Complete Farmer, the same with Cho Tractor, and they have databases full of millions of data points. So
that's wonderful.
We're happy to partner with the Agric Ministry, who has supported us a lot to build up this.
Well, look at that. We've just solved one national problem. It didn't take us that long. Yeah, so planting for food and jobs, call us, huh?
Before, have you heard about the P3 Impact Award?
Tell me about it.
The P3 Impact Award is basically a program run by the U.S. State Department and University of Virginia Business School, Darden. Basically, they go around the world to pick programs that have the promise of impacting countries and changing countries' economies. They pick 60 around the world, then they will shortlist it to 5. And the 5, you have to come and present on the wings of the United Nations General Assembly. Last year, KIC was one of the companies. I went to present, and guess what? We won the top prize.
Yes.
This year, they know the value. They actually picked me to be a judge at the program this year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That is impact.
It is. I mean, I don't know, this past Friday, I'm sure you were at the Ghana Club 100, right?
Yes.
Where was Cosmos Energy?
No doubt. Yeah,
Number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Number
Excellent.
2.
Excellent.
It tells you Cosmos is doing something right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I'd love both of your takes on this one. The future, in fact, what am I saying is the future, is the present actually, of all successful agricultural industries in the world is mechanized agriculture, mechanized farming. There are massive tracts of land being farmed by 2 people and a bunch of machines, But here in Ghana, our government is taking more and more pride in announcing how many jobs they are creating in agriculture, how many more humans they are bringing into agriculture. The question is actually simple. Are we going the wrong way with the development of agriculture in Ghana?
Yes, not at all. So there's the actual field work. And the field work, of course, has to be most efficient. So no one enjoys standing in the hot sun and using a hoe to dig. So we are absolutely for promoting mechanized agriculture. And in fact, we have a solution provider, Cho Tractor, which is setting up mechanized centers all around Ghana. They've mapped out, and it's the Uber for mechanized equipment. So the farmer goes on the Cho Tractor app, inputs that I need a combine harvester on this date. So instead of the farmer spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy equipment that they wouldn't need every time, Cho Tractor is investing in mechanized centers that have minimum numbers of equipment that farmers can book, and it goes to do the work, and it's shared among the community. So we need to do that. And it's improving productivity and yield. But the value chain of agriculture, once it's harvested, once it's being stored, once it's being processed into final goods, it's where a lot of the employment opportunities are. We take all our cocoa, and then what happens? We ship it out. So once the farmers and the collectors did it, there was nothing else to create jobs along the value chain to producing chocolates and distributing chocolates. Then you have someone like a niche cocoa step in, which now, once the farmers have collected the cocoa beans, you create the job that sets up a factory to turn it into cocoa powder and stuff, set up the confectionery factory that makes it into cocoa spread, chocolates, etc. And then you create the distribution system, the tracking, the logistics to get it into the shops and on the streets as we buy our chocolates sometimes. So that is the value chain that creates more jobs. And we need to develop that. And that is what KIC companies are in there doing. So we're looking really, as George said, from the farm to a person's table or their mouth. That lack of processing in that middle, all of those things we need here that we are importing, we want to produce here and possibly export.
Just before George comes in, I mean, Abner, let's be fair, that's not what government is talking about too. When they come out with their calculations, they talk about we've provided this much seedlings so the farmers can farm this much more land, therefore they will employ this number of people to farm the land. They are not talking about the entirety of the value chain. They're talking about this number of seeds produces this number of farm hands. That's what I mean when I say, are we going in the wrong direction?
Okay. Well, I can't talk for government, but I cannot imagine that when they say, we have lots of very smart people at our Ministry of Agriculture, and when they look at where the employment opportunities are, I'm sure they see through the value chain, working with the Ministry of Industry. So it's important we have the right seeds, without question, because we are talking about efficiencies, we are talking about resistance to certain pests or weather changes. So the investments in seeds are important. And of course, if a farmer has the wrong seeds, they are not going to be motivated. If your yield from planting the seed is so little, no one's going to be motivated to continue farming. They'll give it up for galamsey. If they have the right seeds, that are weather appropriate, that have better productivity or yields, then they are encouraged to continue to farm and the economics works better. So it has to be across both chains.
George?
Yeah. Well, I don't think, certainly, they are not wrong. And the reason why I feel that way is, listen, what we are doing at KIC just complements what the government is doing. Remember, population around the world is growing. In fact, agriculture happens to be the most profitable business done well. So it's going to even be attracting more people. It's going to get to a point where everybody wants to go into agriculture and we're going to be feeding the world. So with the population growth explosion, believe me, it's never wrong that everybody gets to know something about agriculture.
All right, so let's talk about the future. Obviously, we've already started taking in contestants for next year. So let's talk about what it looks to you. What is the expectation of you, Abner, and the rest of the advisory council going forward? What are you hoping that KIC Agritech will achieve in this sector?
We're looking for innovation. People sometimes think innovation is a big idea, complex, No. Innovation is sometimes in small packages that can disrupt everything. We all now know what Uber is. Was it a very complex idea of where am I standing, where are the closest cars towards me, or where I am, how do I communicate with them and get my ride? So we're looking for that innovation. We're looking for the next energetic crop of Ghanaians who want to make life better. We've done that in the past, and for me, when I look at what Ghanaian youth or African youth are coming up with, I'm very, very encouraged about that future. And our innovation today we are applying to agriculture, but Ghana and Africa has lots of other challenges. So we know we have challenges around sanitation, we have challenges with the climate and energy. So if your solution then helps us to address some of these other challenges, it takes it to the next level. So for me, I'm very encouraged. When I see that today at our finals, we have 11 companies, it just makes me smile. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And the Ghanaian youth, the African youth, definitely has it in them. Wow.
So George, you've done a great thing. Your team and yourself done a great thing. How are you going to make it greater?
There is a saying, you should never rest on your laurels. You should always be pushing to achieve. There are real challenges to be tackled. And to me, Kojo, let me tell you something that I feel about this program. I'm looking forward to that day when a young person coming from college, whether male or female, is not thinking about going out there to get a job, but rather thinking first and foremost, wow, I can start a business. And if that fails, they can go and look for a job. We haven't gotten to that point yet. So until we reach that point, we're going to continue to create opportunities. Remember, KIC is not just about agriculture. We are tackling, what we've created is a template that allows us to tackle challenges. We are just focusing on our great value chain to create that critical mass and transformation, and then we will move on to the next challenge. And there are several challenges in Ghana. Believe me, you look at sanitation, climate, health, education, name it. There's a myriad of challenges. So there is a lot of things for us to do. Yes.
Well, JoyNews is ready to go the journey with you wherever it may take us.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what we're going to do for another minute or so. Let's check out another of the inspiring stories of the teams that have made their way to the final of this year's KIC Agritech Challenge.
It all started in November 2018 when the call was made for entries into the 4th edition of the competition. From the 600 entries that were made, 300 were called for interview, out of which 120 were finally selected for the competition. But not until they made it through a rigorous physical training exercise at the Army Recruits Training School in Shire Hills.
Swing the hands across the chest and be it raised. Left, right. Left, right. Left, right.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be easy, but it's the hardest thing I've done in the longest while.
So I honestly didn't think I would be able to do it because I got my legs injured yesterday, but I just kind of pushed through it, and I'm really glad that I did. It's been such an awesome experience.
This and many more capacity building exercises and market research works were organized, all in a bid to prepare the participants for the business world, teaching them lessons on topics such as time management, teamwork and leadership.
There's a need for it because you need to be addressing a problem out there. There's a problem out there you're addressing. So, and then the market for it. So if there's you're not addressing any issues and all that, so how will your product be, will be accepted by the market?
By May 2019, the participants were grouped, creating 21 teams, where each team built an innovative business idea based on technology.
Takeaway packs. Now, this is in a bid to increase the quantity of honey for sale, and it poses serious threats to our consumers.
We also have unexploited raw materials, which is waste, which we treat as waste in this country. Last but not least, there's unhygienic handling and poor security during aggregation of coconut at our conventional depots in Accra now.
What differentiates us from them is our ability to produce farm-made feed that is relatively cheaper than what they import into the country at the moment.
But to sieve the best out of the rest, the number was dropped to 16, then later to 11 after the second pitch in July. For their final pitch in September, all 11 businesses mounted the stage with their A game, each ready to prove their business ideas were worth the ultimate prize.
So this one product, the room currently is bright and so it's automatically on. So when the place is very dark, it comes on automatically. There's another product that will be using GPS and GSM. And with that, the farmer, at wherever he is, could turn the system on at night, and during the day, he turns it off automatically.
Understanding of this, that Eat Fresh has developed our Shelf Life Pro, which is an organic solution, which, when applied post-harvest to the surface of tomatoes, forms a thin coat around the tomatoes that inhibits microbial attack.
We are to have a slicing blade at the side, a slicing blade. It's in a radial form, a cutter.
Okay.
So as the conveyor moves and then gets to this side, there's one beneath and there's one on top. As it gets to the blade and it passes through, it slices it open and it falls into the box, and then the beans is collected.
So which two teams will emerge ultimate winners? Agroplast, Cocoa Aboye, Thermostore, AI Scarecrow, Coconut World, Climatech, Farm Code, Prosect Feed, UG Green Technologies, Farm Class, or Eat Fresh. Well, you can watch the announcement of the Joy News channel on the AM show at 8 a.m. For Joy Business, Karen Dudu.
Welcome back. Now, an important part of the entire Agritech challenge process is the role of the ideation team. Let's meet two of them, find out what they do and what we can expect in today's event. Eko Mensah and Ivy Bali, two of the brains present on the ideation team. Nice to meet you both. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Too.
All right, so introduce us to the concept. Ideation team, what do you do?
And so as an ideation team member, we are mainly supporting the startups on the program, giving them the advice and then the support, the mentorship they need to be able to launch their businesses. And so in specific time frames, they have the opportunity to pitch their progress so far to us for feedback and suggestions on how they can improve upon their ideas. And so we are very excited to have been part of the team to select the finalists for this competition.
This must mean you guys are like two of the biggest brains in either agriculture or technology or both.
You're not lying.
So modest. So
modest. No, I mean, I wouldn't say we are two of the biggest brains. I think we are just two people that have been very focused on driving entrepreneurship, youth development, innovation in the country. And we are privileged to be on the ideation team. I mean, I think we are, I wouldn't say youngest, but then we are, yeah.
I think
we are like the youngest team members on the ideation team. We have quite, older people on the team, but then together we bring on board like diversity of thoughts, and then we help shape the concepts, and we look at it from different perspectives. I mean, the world is moving so fast. Sometimes you need young people like us to, just help shape the concepts that are going to change the next generation. So yeah, I mean, so we may not be the best, but we are amongst the best.
And of course, there's a reason why the two of you in particular were picked. Why don't you tell everybody what you do in your normal life?
Oh, sure. In my normal life, I run Developers in Vogue, and it's a non-profit focusing on getting more women interested in technology. And so we run training in software development, data science, and then we connect the women to mentors as well as job opportunities as well. I got interested in KIC also because I want to work towards increasing the participation of women on the program.
Echo.
Yeah.
So in my normal life, I'm married with a child. Anyway, sorry about that. So I run an organization called the African Network of Entrepreneurs. It's a social enterprise that is focused on promoting entrepreneurship and providing access to information, capacity building, networking, and then support for entrepreneurs that want to start and grow businesses. Our focus mainly is on building businesses that can grow beyond the people that started it, sustainable businesses, businesses that have structures and systems, and businesses that are well informed of where the world is going and then the advantages they have and opportunities that they can access. So basically that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, and I'm very excited to be part of the Cosmos Innovation Center ideation team. So basically that's what I do, helping entrepreneurs, and I've been doing that for 10 years.
Wonderful. Now, so let's talk about the 11 teams that have made it this year. Yeah, I mean, I'll start with you, Ivy. Tell me what struck you the most. What is it that these 11 bring to the table?
For me, it has been the drive from the team members because being a young person myself, I know how it can get difficult, especially when there's so much uncertainty. Like the teams have been competing for the past 9 months and they still don't know who's going to get the money or not. We keep telling them it's not about the money because even being on this program is enough to help them launch their businesses. And so for me, it's been the drive, it's been the motivation from the team members, and then the innovative ideas they have. So far, I joined the ideation team just last year, and so seeing these teams participate actually very inspires me a lot to know that there are young people who have innovative ideas. Yeah.
I mean, you've seen so many young people, old people with new ideas, bursting, ready to go, and then, sometimes you're the one who ends up having to tell them, slow down.
Yeah, that's the important
Exactly. How much of that was present with these 11? I mean, how well thought through are some of these ideas, and how much more did the ideation team have to do with them to turn what is a dream into a viable business?
So what I'm personally excited about when it comes to KIC is the level of attention they pay to how relevant the concepts that these young people are excited about are. Because you enter with your own ideas and everything, but then they eventually put them in teams and form teams that now push concepts that are relatable, viable, and sustainable. And through the process of growing these concepts from when because they come up with these concepts whilst they are in the program. They don't come with their own. They come with some level of ideas, but then because they put them in teams, the teams have to agree that this is what we want to do. But it's not just this is what we think we are more excited about, but is this relevant? So then they go to the marketplace, they test run their idea, they form MVPs and stuff like that, and they make sure that whatever ideas they are going to push is a business. And that's what we tell them all the time. It's not just about, oh, I'm excited about it, or I'm very passionate about it, or this is a problem I think needs a solution. Sometimes there's a reason why there hasn't been a solution all these years. We are very entrepreneurial as a people, as Ghanaians, as Africans. So then if there's a problem that has persisted for a long time and there isn't a solution, it doesn't necessarily mean people are not thinking about it. So then it's not as much as busting their bubbles as it is about, okay, yes, you might be excited about this, but then is this business? Is this sustainable? I mean, beyond the funding and everything, are you going to get enough clients to be able to grow this business? And it's not just about, oh, I want to do a small business in my small corner. No. We are putting 3-4 people together. We need you to build global businesses. We need you to build businesses that can transcend the shores of this country. We need you to build businesses that can contribute to the government's agenda of promoting private sector development and Ghana Beyond Aid. So then those are the things that we go through with these people, and then we get them to be aware that you're not just building a business for yourself. So it's not just about how excited I am about it or how passionate I am or how much I think and believe this is going to work. No. And that's where we come in. So we don't make it look like, the reality shows where we say, no, you can't go. It's not. But is this business? Does it have something that people would want to patronize? Is it affordable? And things like that. So those are the things that, we take them through. And they get to understand that criticisms are part of business. Clients would be you have to listen to them because they eventually shape the concept to get it to the point where it will be accepted by the market. And then you'll be able to grow this business and make money. So we serve as clients, we serve as family members, we serve as best friends, we serve as enemies, we serve as devil's advocates, whatever. But then at the end of the day, it is just to let them know that it is a business you're building that would give hope to someone, that would give hope to a country, to a continent. And that's why you see that when they come through the process, they just blossom, because they've gone through the mill, they've gone through the process, they've seen it, they've heard it, they've listened, they've corrected, and it's beautiful when it eventually comes out. So that's what we do. It's not busting bubbles.
Now, Ivy, how good are they? I mean, how do you often hear an idea and you think to yourself, I wish I had thought of that?
This comes up quite a number of times, especially when I see the teams improve so much, take the feedback that's given to them and incorporate into their ideas. The ideas are actually very innovative, and they solve real problems in the agricultural industry, and that is really key because that's the focus of the KIC program. And so anytime I have the opportunity to talk to the team members, I let them know that this is not the end of it. There's more they can do. We are always around to give them the support they need to be able to actually take their ideas to the market. So I would admit that they are very innovative ideas. You guys should go check them out. Yeah.
Excellent. We plan to. That's what we're here for. Tell us, though, Eko, I mean, what are some of the common misconceptions that innovators bring into the starting of a business? Walk us through a few of the things that are quite common. You see them at every one of these challenges.
Okay, so one I think I've already alluded to. Oh, this is a problem. It hasn't been solved. I have an idea. It can solve it. It would work. People would buy. It's a myth.
I think and believe. I like that.
Yeah, it's a big myth. In fact, even when you've been able to prove the concept and you've taken it to market, now we're doing agribusiness, agriculture. We're talking about smallholder farmers. We're talking about people that don't have budget for anything else but what you're doing. And you're coming up with innovation that you know would help. You know it would help. But then when it gets to them, there's so many factors that would not let them accept it. And then you realize that, okay, so these were my primary target market, but really I probably would need another organization or government to be able to actually deploy the solution to them. So that's one of the myths, like, there's a problem, I need to solve it. Another myth is you would find the money, like build and they will come. I think that's a common myth, and we've seen it in many instances where people believe that, okay, as long as I'm putting effort into this, I'm going to raise the money to be able to push it to the next level. And there's different stages when it comes to ideation. You get to the stage where you can prototype the concept, but then when you have to large-scale produce it, then it becomes a problem because you might not have the funding to be able to do that. So then you have to go back and bootstrap. You have to go back and get the markets to invest in the business, and that's where the hard work is, because sometimes innovators think that, and that's why most innovators are not rich, because you innovate.
Is that true?
Yeah, most innovators are not rich, because you innovate and then the market then mass produces it. So now it comes to who has the more money, because you are putting in the effort to test run the concept, but then anybody has the freedom to duplicate the concept. So that's one of the major myths, that if I build and it's accepted in the marketplace, I'm going to make enough money to be able to grow it. But then sometimes you need to bootstrap it. You need to be very consistent about getting to the marketplace. You need to end the innovation at a point and then make sure that the people that need this innovation are the ones that are informing the various dynamics of the transformation of the innovation. And you see it even in WhatsApp. It didn't started the way it was, but now we told them what we wanted, and now they're giving it to us. So sometimes sometimes they're just overly excited about their concepts. And as I said, we don't necessarily allow that, even though we need them to be very passionate about that all the time. And because KIC promotes collaboration, sometimes you think that as long as she agrees with me, we'll be an amazing team. But it doesn't work like that. Sometimes we put them together and just they break apart automatically. One thing we are happy about is when the process ends, they tend to find their best fits. And then the synergy makes everything beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to add a quick misconception as well. And that is more related towards agriculture. And for the past few weeks, we've been going around trying to get more people interested in KIC, especially women. And then they say, oh, agric, no, I'm not interested in agric. So people, and it's more like how society has created that impression. So, for example, back in high school, they ask you to read as a form of punishment. And so growing up, the young people have had that misconception that if you do agree, it's a
labor.
punishment, exactly. But then the cool kids are here at KIC. They are using technology, they are using innovation to transform that industry. And so through the work we do as ideation team members, we also look for opportunities to encourage more young people to pursue careers in agriculture as well.
Do ideation team members always agree?
Otherwise, we won't have a winner. Otherwise, we won't have a winner. Sometimes it's not even split through the middle. We don't always agree, and that's the diversity that we bring to the team. I mean, we have different perceptions of what will work and what will not. We have varied experience levels, so then what one sees, we probably have never seen, you know, and at the end of the day, but we are allowed to independently, especially when we are judges, we are allowed to independently provide what we think through the results we provide, and then eventually they do the collation, and then the winner comes out. But we don't fight or whatever. I mean, no, we put out our perception. Some people agree, some people don't, and it's funny, especially because we get to review these concepts at a show like this. So then it's public. So she's telling everybody what she feels about it. I'm telling everybody. And so it's the public that actually gets to find out that we are not agreeing. But that's not to... I mean, there are instances where I've said, oh, this is a brilliant idea, and then somebody has said, oh, this is crap. They will say crap, but so then the public sees that, oh, we are not in agreement, but it's not up to us. Eventually, it's up to how, you know, the thing, whatever concept it is, relates to the market, and then how viable it is eventually.
And also to add that the teams are not obliged to do what we say.
No.
So we are giving our advice, but it's in their best discretion to choose what they feel will work best for their business case. But most of the time, those who take the advice tend to do better.
Right?
And tend to win.
The word to the wise, yeah. Listen, thank you both so much, Ivy and winners of 2019's KIC Agritech Challenge will be. And we will bring you that very, very shortly. But first, though, back to the studio for News Desk.